Welcome to Trial Site News Weekly Roundup. My name is Adrian, and I'll be going over some of our top news stories from this past week. Please click the subscribe button and ring the bell to be notified of future videos. This week we start our roundup with a note about our upcoming episode of the WATCHLIST series. Enter Patrick Girondi. We had covered his story last year, and I interviewed him back in September about his David versus Goliath struggle with his company Errant Gene Therapeutics and its legal case versus Third Rock Ventures, Sloan Kettering, and Bluebird Bio. Now, I had a chance to sit down and speak with him again about this and what has transpired since we last covered the story. His interview and the episode about this case airs Thursday, February 13th. And now for a malaria news story. The National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, or the NIAID, has developed a monoclonal antibody, or MAB, called MAB-CIS43 or CIS43LS, targeting malaria. Now, they are now enrolling healthy adult volunteers in a phase 1 clinical trial testing the safety and effectiveness of the investigational medicine at the National Institute of Health Clinical Center in Bethesda, Maryland. Now, after receiving MAB-CIS43LS, most of the volunteers will be exposed to the malaria parasite-carrying mosquitoes under carefully controlled conditions at the Walter Reed National Military Medical Center, where investigators will assess the ability of the investigational treatment to confer protection from malaria infection. Turning now to autoimmune-related news stories. Case Western Reserve University researchers have developed a drug known as Myeliviz that could make it easier for doctors to diagnose multiple sclerosis, or MS, in its early stages. The Ohio-based team has secured $1.7 million from the NIH for an FDA-compliant first-in-human clinical trial to be tested on healthy volunteers at the Cleveland Clinic Mellon Center for Multiple Sclerosis. Swedish researchers from Karolinska Institute and Lund University conducted a registry-based cross-sectional study targeting Hidradenitis suppurativa, or HS, patients in Sweden. The team sought to better understand the social characteristics and comorbidity in all HS patients in Sweden, as well as to study the prevalence of lifestyle factors associated with negative impact on health and pregnancy in Swedish pregnant women. The investigators found that HS patients were more frequently women, unmarried, and had lower education and lower income levels as when compared with the Swedish reference population. There were associations with inflammatory bowel disease and type 2 diabetes. Now, additionally, pregnant women in Sweden exhibited higher prevalence of weight issues, including obesity and smoking. Overall, the findings indicate that HS patients represent a vulnerable population that should be understood so that medical professionals can enhance preventative measures and improve care coordination, etc. And now we turn to cardiovascular news stories. A multi-center preclinical research team involving Harvard Medical School, Brigham, and Women's Hospital University of Oxford, and other prestigious research centers, reveal that when too many of the heart's molecular motors units get switched on and too few remain off, the heart muscle begins to contract excessively and fails to relax normally, leading to its gradual overexertion, thickening, and failure. Now, treatment with an experimental small molecule drug produced by Third Rock Ventures backed MyoKardia, founders include authors Jonathan and Christine Seidman, restores proper contraction and energy consumption as the team has found in human and rodent heart cells. Now, if subsequent studies can affirm these findings, new therapies could potentially help prevent common complications, including arrhythmia and heart failure. And now we turn to clinical trial news. To date, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, or the FDA, has approved 4 gene therapy products, which insert new genetic material into a patient's cells. The agency expects a boom in gene therapy product approvals in the coming decade, as evidenced by the more than 900 investigational new drug, or IND, applications for ongoing clinical studies in this area. The FDA recently issued a press release announcing they believe this will provide patients and providers with increased therapeutic choices. Now, consequently, the agency announced the release of a number of important policies, including 6 final guidelines on gene therapy manufacturing and clinical development of products, and a draft guidance interpreting sameness of gene therapy products under the orphan drug regulations. Dr. April Armstrong, Associate Dean of Clinical Research at Keck School of Medicine at University of Southern California, or USC, reports that nearly 6.4 million people suffer from plaque psoriasis, a chronic autoimmune disease that can cause significant discomfort and outbreaks in awkward places and can penetrate much deeper than the skin. Now, this autoimmune condition can profoundly impact people's lives. With no cure, nearly 50% of patients diagnosed don't know what to do about treatment options and need help. University of Pennsylvania biotech pioneer and visionary James Wilson, in a way, gets to live the best of both worlds. On one hand, as director of University of Philadelphia's Gene Therapy Program, or GTP, he heads one of the world's preeminent gene therapy-based research programs in a publicly financed higher education-based institution, while on the other hand, he is a founder, scientific advisor, and equity holder for hot new Philadelphia PA startup Passage Bio, or Passage. Now, Wilson has paid a lot of dues as a pioneer, paving the way to the forthcoming gene therapy revolution. Wilson and team launched Passage Bio in 2017 to be a first-in-class, fully integrated genetic medicines venture developing life-transforming AAV delivered in vivo therapeutics for the treatment of rare central nervous system, or CNS, diseases. Now, this insider's access to Penn and GTP has led to major financing, roughly about $110 million in Series B alone, and another $225 million in total. Now, as the upstart embarked on the aggressive undertaking, the development of an advanced portfolio of 6 rare disease indications via IND-enabling studies. With such a big vision, capital is key, and Passage Bio will go to the public market with an initial public offering, or IPO, to raise as much as another $125 million, selling shares of Passage Bio stock to the public. And now for STD-related news. The complex nature and lifestyle of the chlamydia pathogen makes the development of a vaccine difficult. However, the development of such a vaccine is an international priority, and recently a vaccine sponsor has completed a phase 1 clinical trial producing promising results. Learn more about Denmark-Statens, Serum Institute, and Imperial College London collaborate to take on this major problem. And now for cancer stories. Exelixis reported results from CheckMate 040, a phase 1 and 2 open-label trial investigating cabozantinib and nivolumab with or without ipilimumab in patients with advanced HCC with and without chronic viral hepatitis who are naive, intolerant to, or who have progressed during sorafenib therapy. The data from the cabozantinib combination cohort of the CheckMate 040 trial were presented on Friday, January 24th during Rapid Abstract Session B from 7 to 7:45 a.m. Pacific Time at the 2020 American Society of Clinical Oncology Gastrointestinal Cancers Symposium, which was held in San Francisco, California on January 23rd through to the 25th. Now, cannabinoids did not appear to reduce cancer-associated pain among adults with cancer, according to results of a systemic review and meta-analysis published in BMG Supportive and Palliative Care. Now, the review and analysis was led by Jason Boland, PhD, PFRCP SFHEA, Senior Clinical Lecturer and Honorary Consultant in the Department of Palliative Medicine at Wolfson Palliative Care Research Center of Hull York Medical School in the UK, and colleagues. Oncolytics, biotech's virus-based anti-cancer therapy, Raylicin, has the attention of top researchers from Winship Cancer Center and City of Hope, who are studying how combinations including pelareorep and Kyprolis offer benefits to multiple myeloma patients. Dr. Thomas Lynch, Jr. took the top job of Global Cancer Research Leader Fred Hutchinson Cancer Research Center as president and director. A well-known cancer leader with expertise in solid tumor research, precision medicine, and immune oncology, Lynch kicks things off starting February 2020. A nationally recognized leader in academic medicine for over 3 decades. Lynch served as chairman and CEO of Massachusetts General Physicians Organization, director of Yale Cancer Center, physician-in-chief of Yale's Smilow Caner Hospital, professor of medicine at Yale School of Medicine, chief of hematology-oncology at Massachusetts General Hospital, and professor of medicine at Harvard Medical School. Now, most recently, he served as Chief Scientific Officer at Bristol Myers Squibb, where he was involved with research and development efforts in cancer, cardiovascular disease, fibrosis, and immunoscience. His focus on translational immuno-oncology research led to new therapies and treatments for patients with solid tumors and hematologic malignancies. Roswell Park has launched the Center for Indigenous Cancer Research, a first of its kind, dedicated to reducing the impact cancer has on the indigenous communities from Western New York to the rest of the world. The center's staff will work tirelessly to ensure a cancer care continuum from prevention through survivorship and tap into a network extending from Canada to the South Pacific. And now for Connected World Stories. According to recent research from Pew Research Center, as 2020 commences, about 1 in 5 U.S. adults, or roughly about 21%, report that they regularly wear a smartwatch or wearable fitness tracker. Based on a survey 6 months earlier in June, the implications are significant for clinical research sponsors and investigators. The era of the digitally enabled, patient-centric, decentralized clinical study is here, as the technology infrastructure and culture will now facilitate such practice. Can sponsors morph fast enough to capitalize on this golden opportunity? Time will tell. Standards-driven health data interoperability can directly support improved patient care coordination, a key early premise of the ACA, and importantly also a contributor to real-time, real-world evidence or RWE-based research programs for overall improvements to health. Hence, the importance of Northwell Health, a major U.S. health system, and its Smart on FHIR application that aggregates, normalizes, and stores patient data to better track progress across the care continuum for at-risk premature birth patients. Northwell Health leveraged an innovative integration model developed by Boston Children's Hospital and the FHIR Standard for Health Data Interoperability to evolve its electronic health record, or EHR, to improve care coordination for premature birth patients. The model discussed has broad applicability not only for direct healthcare coordination scenarios, but also as an enabler for the creation of richer, deeper, and more meaningful data, consumable for AI algorithms in support of real-world evidence-based research. And finally, this Wednesday, be sure to check out another episode of Trial Site News podcast series. Now, this week I had a chance to sit down and talk to Taproot Health, a data as a service enterprise uniting oncology stakeholders, which is powered by a patient and clinic-centric model of shared data and revenue mediated through proprietary methods and technology. Now, the guests I interviewed were Dane Dixon, who's the CEO and founder, and Rebecca Owens, Chief Commercial Officer and co-founder of Taproot Health. Be sure to come back and take a listen. Do you have any clinical news you'd like us to report on? If so, let us know. Contact information is in the box below. Thank you for joining us for this week's Trial Site News Roundup. And remember, subscribe and ring the bell to be notified of updates. We'll see you next time.